King Harris' emotional farewell shakes the internet. If you thought the Kardashians were dramatic, buckle up because King Harris just raised the bar. The son of rap icon T.I. and Tiny, King has always lived in the spotlight, but this time, the story hit harder than ever. What started as a strange, emotional post online quickly turned into a digital firestorm that had fans crying, confused, and glued to their screens. King Harris dropped what he called his final farewell, and it wasn't your average celebrity stunt. This wasn't someone taking a short break from Instagram only to come back with a new product to sell. This felt raw, emotional, and painfully real. Within hours, the internet exploded. Fans were worried, the media was scrambling, and even people who had never heard of King before were suddenly invested. Reports claimed that doctors rushed in, family members cried, and fans questioned if what they were seeing was real or staged. Memes, theories, and fake updates spread faster than wildfire. Twitter turned it into a circus overnight, while TikTok edits had fans sobbing one moment and laughing the next. The drama was so intense that even Hollywood producers were jokingly asking how to buy the movie rights. At the center of it all stood King Harris, rapper, reality TV kid, and chaos magnet. He's been surrounded by controversy before, but this time felt different. This wasn't just another headline. It was a public unraveling that blurred the line between real life and performance. According to the first reports, King's emotional breakdown happened suddenly. Some said he collapsed and was rushed to a hospital. Others believed it was all staged for attention. And then came the so-called insiders, random online voices claiming to have seen it live, acting as experts on his condition. The situation turned into a mix of gossip, panic, and internet comedy. Fans flooded social media with messages of support, confusion, and disbelief. Hashtags like #PrayForKing and #FinalFarewell trended for hours. Some people were genuinely concerned, lighting candles and posting prayers. Others made memes faster than you could refresh your feed. One viral post even showed King edited onto the Titanic, waving goodbye while fans wrote captions like "Don't let go, King." But behind the jokes, there was real tension. The Harris family's history of public feuds and reality TV drama didn't help the situation. People didn't know whether to send sympathy or grab popcorn. King's farewell messages filled with cryptic lines about legacy, betrayal, and fame only fueled the chaos. Some fans thought he was saying goodbye for good, while others believed it was a dramatic reinvention, a way to say farewell to the old king and announce a new version of himself. The uncertainty made it go viral even faster. The internet thrives on mystery, and this had all the ingredients: a famous family, emotional breakdowns, hospital rumors, and cryptic social media posts. It became impossible to tell what was real. Still, many people pointed out how genuine King seemed this time. His voice cracked, his emotions looked unfiltered, and his family's panic didn't seem rehearsed. For once, it didn't feel like a performance. Whether it was exhaustion, mental strain, or a cry for help, it clearly came from a place of pain. As fans debated, screenshots of King's messages began circulating online. They read like poetry mixed with heartbreak lines about the weight of fame, the pressure of being T.I.'s son, and the feeling of constantly being compared to his parents. Some claimed he was shading his father, others said it was about a friend or a falling out in the industry. Conspiracy theories took off instantly. A few people even dragged the Illuminati into it, because apparently, no celebrity drama is complete without that. Meanwhile, social media detectives went into overdrive. They slowed down clips, analyzed his tone, and looked for secret meanings in every blink and breath. One viral post claimed King blinked 3 times in a video, a supposed code for help. It was pure madness. Then came the twist. Rumors spread that King had been rushed to a hospital during his breakdown. Photos of ambulances started appearing online. Gossip blogs posted headlines like "Doctors rushed to save King Harris," while anonymous accounts claimed to know nurses on the inside. The panic reached its peak, but then plot twist, it all flipped. Witnesses claimed they saw King laughing and using his phone just minutes later. Suddenly, the internet turned on him. People started accusing him of trolling, calling it a publicity stunt gone too far. The narrative went from tragedy to comedy in record time. TikTok users reenacted the scene using fake oxygen masks. YouTube creators streamed for hours, dissecting every rumor like detectives. Even news outlets like Good Morning America started covering the story, wondering who King Harris really was and why millions of people cared. As the noise grew, the Harris family stayed quiet. No official statement, no clarification. And in today's world, silence only fuels speculation. Theories piled up. Was King struggling with mental health? Was it a planned rebrand? Or was it simply a moment of emotional overload caught in real time? Celebrities began to chime in too. Some sent prayers and heart emojis. Others couldn't resist a little shade. One rapper joked that King's farewell got more attention than his last album. Another tweeted, "Clout is a dangerous drug," without naming names. The internet ate it up. Meanwhile, critics of the Harris family resurfaced. They've always accused the clan of chasing attention, and this incident gave them new ammunition. Old clips of King's past arguments and wild statements were reposted as proof that he was just doing it for views. But those closest to him insisted it wasn't about fame, it was about frustration. Being the child of famous parents comes with heavy pressure. Every mistake becomes a headline, every emotion turns into a meme. For King, who's been in the spotlight since he was a kid, it's easy to see how the constant attention could break anyone down. In the end, the truth about King Harris' final farewell remains unclear. Maybe it was real. Maybe it was exaggerated. Maybe it was both. What's certain is that it exposed how quickly the internet can turn someone's pain into entertainment. 1 minute, people are praying for you. The next, they're making jokes and edits for clout. The entire episode says as much about our online culture as it does about King himself. We crave emotion, chaos, and spectacle, and King Harris gave us all three. But behind the memes and headlines, there's a young man trying to figure out who he is while the whole world watches. So, was it a goodbye, a breakdown, or just another bizarre chapter in the never-ending saga of fame and family drama? No one really knows. What we do know is that King Harris has once again managed to do what few can: get the entire internet talking. And in a world that moves on in seconds, that's saying something. The whole situation had turned into something wild, a mix of confusion, emotions, and non-stop drama. Fans were crying, arguing, and defending King Harris like their own brother. They weren't just leaving comments. They were making videos, posting emotional letters, and even holding candlelight TikTok vigils. Some people went as far as creating GoFundMe pages titled "Save King Harris." The funny part? Nobody even knew what the money was for. But Logic had already packed its bags and left the chat. The chaos only grew when a leaked audio clip hit the internet. The recording allegedly featured King Harris saying, "Y'all don't care when I'm here, but you'll care when I'm gone." That one line was like dropping a bomb in the middle of social media. Fans broke down, crying and posting tributes, while critics rolled their eyes and called it another attention grab. The Harris family stayed silent, which only made things worse. At this point, the whole mess felt like a cross between Keeping Up with the Kardashians, House of Cards, and a WWE retirement speech. People were tired but couldn't stop watching. It was like scrolling past a car crash you know you shouldn't, but you just can't look away. The truth was simple. King Harris had done something no one in his position had ever managed to do. He completely hijacked the internet. In a world where scandals disappear within 24 hours, his so-called final farewell turned into a story that refused to die. It grew bigger each day: memes, fan theories, reaction videos. It became an ongoing digital soap opera. Nobody knew if it was actually over, and that uncertainty kept everyone hooked. Then came whispers that this farewell wasn't the end at all. Some said it was only the beginning of something bigger, a grand plan, maybe even a rebranding move. Fans called it the King Harris universe, where each episode was more dramatic than the last. When the Harris family finally broke their silence, people expected answers. Instead, they got cryptic messages, half-written posts, and a single mysterious Instagram story that showed a Bible verse, a candle emoji, and no explanation. It was pure confusion. Was it a message of grief? A marketing stunt? Nobody knew. But one thing was certain: it kept the story alive. Critics had a field day. YouTube commentators and podcast hosts accused the family of milking tragedy for attention. One called the whole ordeal monopoly money in the bank of fame. Another joked, if Shakespeare wrote about clout chasing, this would be Act 5. But whether you believed King Harris was truly struggling or just pulling off the biggest marketing stunt of the year, the emotional damage was real. Fans who had cried felt betrayed. Those who mocked him looked heartless when the health rumors resurfaced. Even seasoned gossip bloggers admitted they didn't know how to feel. One confessed, I don't know if I should laugh, cry, or make a thumbnail. The fan fallout was intense. Thousands claimed they were done supporting him. Social media was flooded with unfollow messages, angry comments, and videos saying goodbye. Yet, ironically, his streaming numbers shot through the roof. His name dominated Google Trends. Every meme, every reaction video, every blog post only made him more famous. It was the ultimate paradox: cancel him, and he becomes even bigger. Inside his family, things weren't looking smooth either. Rumors spread that T.I. and Tiny were clashing over how to handle the situation. Some said King's siblings felt ignored, watching their brother's chaos steal all the attention. Music industry insiders whispered that record labels were hesitant to work with him not because he lacked talent, but because he was becoming too unpredictable. He had turned into the walking example of bad press is still press. But here's where things took a deeper turn. King's farewell became more than just a celebrity scandal. It started conversations about fame, mental health, and the cost of being constantly watched online. People started asking hard questions. Are we the reason stars break down? Do we feed this chaos for entertainment? Talk shows and podcasts began debating it like a social issue. Articles popped up with headlines like, "Are we to blame for King Harris's breakdown?" It was clear this wasn't just about King anymore. It was about the culture that eats up celebrity pain for clicks and laughs. Then, just when everyone thought the story was fading, King Harris reappeared alive, confident, and smiling like nothing happened. He went live on Instagram, sitting in front of the camera like a man who just fooled the entire world. Fans expected tears or an apology, maybe even a speech about mental health. Instead, King laughed. He joked about being the most famous hospital patient ever and teased new music. The internet lost its mind. Supporters called him a genius. He played everyone like chess, they said. Critics called him manipulative and cruel for turning emotions into content. The rest of the world? Too busy laughing at the memes comparing him to Tupac faking his death. Late-night hosts roasted him. Brands slipped references to his farewell in their ads. Other rappers threw shade in their lyrics, calling him Goodbye King and the Clout Messiah. His farewell became a cultural catchphrase shorthand for anyone doing the absolute most online. But here's the crazy part. Whether you loved him or hated him, King Harris had pulled off the impossible. Overnight, he transformed from T.I.'s son with drama into one of the most talked about names in pop culture. Before this, people knew him mostly as a rapper trying to make his mark. After it, he was a headline machine, part controversy, part comedy, part mystery. Fans couldn't help but wonder what he'd do next. Would there be a diss track? A reality show? Maybe a Netflix documentary titled Final Goodbye, The King Harris Story. Whatever it was, everyone knew one thing: the show wasn't over. Because deep down, the farewell didn't end the story. It only kicked off Act 2. His reputation may have taken a hit, but his fame skyrocketed. In today's world, that's the only currency that matters. So whether his goodbye was a real cry for help, a clever marketing move, or a little bit of both, one fact remains: he made the internet care. He made us argue, laugh, and obsess. He turned chaos into art, and that's a rare skill. And that, right there, is his true legacy. King Harris's final farewell wasn't really an ending. It was the spark that lit the biggest online firestorm of the year. The farewell that wouldn't fade. The emotional roller coaster that had everyone glued to their screens. It was tragic, funny, frustrating, and brilliant all at once. Let's be honest, most of us didn't watch because we cared about his well-being. We watched because it was drama at its finest. A live, unfiltered reality show happening in real time. And as long as there's chaos to watch, people will keep watching.